somewhere in my Evo 0.2 review, I said this. So in short then, VR is still broken. But this was only because I had DLSS turned on. So previously, from the last update, there was a bug where if you played on the screen, you would turn DLSS on, get more frames. But then if you load back in VR, it would cause the VR to break. And you couldn't turn it off in VR. You had to leave, go back to the screen, turn DLSS off, load back in VR for it to work. No one knew, no one was told this. I managed to figure it out, I made a video about it, and, you know, everything was good. But it was a stupid bug. And then, after this update, I loaded in, and DLSS is turned on, but the menu's not broke. So I went and tested it, tried it, and then, you know, the game works, but it's super fuzzy. Whereas even in like ACC, I have DLSS turned on and it looks perfectly fine. Just get more frames. So this is kind of what threw me off, I think, when I originally said Evo VR is not good. So after realizing this, I wanted to do a little test and show different VR resolutions paired with different Evo graphical presets, so we can see which visuals and FPS make the most sense to use. Because similar to this video I made where we talked about FPS and performance and graphics on screen, the VR kind of works the same, where the difference in graphics doesn't change that much between, say, medium, high and ultra. But the difference in FPS is definitely worth sacrificing a small amount of graphical clarity to gain 15-20 FPS. One other thing what I'm doing as well, because Evo runs this thing on 2 eyes, it's ridiculous. We can't create content like this. We're forced to run Oculus Mirror, but that just eats into the performance. So to keep the test as fair and true to what the FPS would be like without having to run the mirror, we're just going to have to leave mirror turned off and watch it like this, unfortunately. So let's just get into it. So to start off, we're using 90 Hz and max resolution on the headset. I actually found you can run 72 and you really don't notice an upgrade from running 90. Although, like, it doesn't hurt to run the 90 because extra FPS is, you know, obviously going to be better. Whereas in some other games, it's really obvious when your frames drop. The quality of visuals inside the headset is like so laggy and slow, it can almost give you motion sickness because it's that bad. With Evo, I don't notice it to be like a huge issue. So when you load in VR, this normally would be 4K for me. I play on 120 Hz 4K TV, but for some reason it's down to 1080, which is fine because if we can save performance by not running 4K on the screen, which we don't see anyway because we're in VR, we can, you know, take that performance and put it into the headset basically. So for graphics, we're going to start on this low preset and then we'll work our way up. I'll show all 4 on the screen at once, but I'm going to do a little overview of each setting before I show all the FPS information and stuff like this. So we're just going to use the same setup for every single one to keep the test fair. We're going to run Imola in the new Maserati with a clear sky. So with each graphics type, I'm going to drive just a little bit and point out the key things that you notice immediately inside the headset. So since the update, there's been this weird ring. You can see it around the on the wheel. It's kind of like a foveated rendering issue, if I was to guess, because it's a circle. You know, and that would like pack the more denser pixels into the middle of this circle because that's what your eye mainly looks at, and then lessen the quality of the pixels on the outside of that area. It could be quite off-putting though, because, you know, you see it out the corner of your eye flickering and moving. But that's one issue, which is not because of the graphics, just it's since the update. So the one thing with the graphics, obviously it's just because of the preset. The mirror quality is absolutely terrible. The numbers on the dash are visible, but they're blurry. The main issue is the trees. Like, for me, this tree in the distance is just a blob of green, and you notice as you get closer, it renders in at different stages to add the detail. So, like, yeah, the frames might be nice on 80 FPS. We're only using one car. You know, if you had like a ton of cars, this would be perfect for that, I feel like. But visually, it's not the best. Okay, so switching across to medium settings. Obviously, the mirrors are a little bit sharper. This is probably the sweet spot for me. The numbers on the dials on the dash are way clearer. The mirrors, like, you can totally live with these settings. And the amount of, like, performance that you're gaining rather than running it on ultra, like, is totally worth it. These trees, you don't even notice them rendering in anymore. The difference between low and medium is actually a big jump. This will probably be my go-to settings, I think, within this highest resolution, you know, category. Okay, now we're on high settings, and obviously again, everything is moved up another level. The shadows are sharper, the overall visuals, like on the edges of objects within the map, are sharper. The dials on the dash are even sharper. Like, depending on the FPS gains, obviously I can't see right now because, you know, I'm in my headset and it doesn't show the FPS on the screen. We'll take a look at that afterwards. Visually, this is obviously, you know, a lot more pleasing, but like, I'm not noticing any difference for performance within the headset. But this is, I was saying, this is like a thing that seems to happen with Evo. Regardless of your frames, it always feels quite smooth. As long as you're above 50, 60, like, you should be good. And finally, the best of the best that you're ever gonna get, ultra settings with max resolution. The wing mirrors are like clear as day. You can pick out every little detail in them. The dash, you know, the dash actually doesn't look that much sharper than the high settings, but like, look how much the frames are down. I don't think the visual quality of the mirrors alone is worth the hit on FPS, because really that's like the only thing that like really stands out. So straight out of the box, even just sat in the pits, there's like what, 20, 30 FPS difference between epic and low. But like I said, the visuals on low is just not it. Now, the jump from low to medium is the biggest improvement. So medium to high is probably going to be the best option. So we've turned the headset resolution down one click. This is still on 90 Hz. So let's see the FPS increase just by turning this down one click. So same setup as last time. We're starting on low. We just have a lower headset resolution. And really, there's no difference visually in this from the other low. It's maybe ever so slightly fuzzier, but it's not noticeable. And same as last time, the trees are, you know, noticeably rendering in. This is the only thing for me that would probably stop me from using this setting. But if, you know, you don't have a PC the same as mine, then you might have no option. Okay, now medium settings. Like, to me, as I said in the previous one, the medium settings are perfectly fine. I could totally play Evo like this. We're probably up a little bit on FPS just by reducing the resolution of the VR ever so slightly, and it's not noticeable. You can have a perfectly good, enjoyable gaming experience on Evo with these settings. 100%. I would happily play like this. Okay, onto high settings, and it's pretty much the same story as last time, where the visuals look great, the numbers on the dash are super clear, there's no weird rendering in with the trees, the shadows are fine, and the mirrors, like, you could totally live with this. And finally, Ultra. Like, really, this should be the second best available setting after the max resolution Ultra. It's kind of just dependent on what type of FPS you're looking at getting. So it's kind of the same thing again. Epic and low, 25 FPS between them, and the two kings in the middle, medium and high. What, medium's pushing maybe 7 FPS more at times, if that. It's not a great deal, but it all adds up, you know. So this time, I actually went down 2 clicks. We're going to skip this one and go straight to this and see if the frames gained justifies the decrease in quality. Okay, so starting with the low settings, as you can see from the NVIDIA readout in the top corner, we're just sat on 90 FPS, and the GPU utilization is probably the lowest it's been all day. But the same again, like with this low preset, the mirrors are not it. The view distance now, like, so before at a distance it wasn't too bad, it was just the rendering of the trees that looked pretty bad. But now you can really pick out the blurriness in the distance, and the numbers on the dash getting to the point where if we was to turn it down another click or two, 8s and 9s would be distinguishable from each other. Okay, medium settings, and same again. These numbers on the dash are 10 times clearer than there was on low settings. The mirrors look better. Like, you can totally use medium settings, and you're not sacrificing too much visual clarity inside the headset. I don't know what the FPS is on right now, but I saw when we was in the pits, we was still on 90 FPS. Like, it looks perfectly fine. So, high settings, similar thing. I'm not really noticing a decrease in the headset at the minute. It kind of looks the same. This is more going to be for checking the FPS than the visual quality, because for me, this looks great. And finally, Ultra. I was just looking at them FPS. 72. I feel like this is what, maybe 20 FPS greater than it was when the headset was on the highest setting, if not more. And man, you can totally play with this resolution. So rather than sacrificing graphics in game, sacrifice a little bit inside the headset, and you'll have a much more enjoyable experience. So 30 to 35 FPS difference between low and epic, but then look at medium. It's still up there. It's like it's pretty much touching 90 FPS, the same as low. So if your headset's really struggling, like I just said, I would, rather than sacrifice in-game graphics, set them to medium. It literally looks the same, and just turn down your resolution of your VR. So a quick little traffic test. We're still on the lower VR setting. We're going to use the high preset, and we have, what, 18 drivers on the grid. So let's just see how the FPS fares with this. Are we on 60? We've pretty much a full grid. Still on 60. Like, inside the headset, it's fine, it's smooth. Oh yeah, these improvements, I ain't drove with the AI yet, but I can already tell you, even approaching this first corner, they actually seem a little bit better. The cars are moving like nice and smooth. The like inside the headset
Feels nice, looks good. So let's do the same thing, but with the resolution turned all the way up. So same race, same settings on high, but the VR resolution is on complete max, 90 FPS. We're still hovering around the 60 mark. Look at this train. Oh, I think I actually have the AI set to like a safe mode or something. Like I said, I haven't really played with the AI since the update. But do you know what? This is actually running really well. We're getting 50, 56 FPS. You can't complain. Like, this is what I was saying with Evo. Inside the headset, this feels like 80 FPS. It doesn't feel like 50, 60. If you used to play AC1 with the headset on 50, 60 FPS, you would notice immediately. So I was actually surprised about how good that traffic test went. So let's see how it deals with the rain. Okay, so we're still on max res, max graphics in game. And it feels no different. I didn't change the tires out. I hope to put wets on for me. But yeah, like, I don't notice any difference. What, we're on 55 FPS currently? 58. It's around that same mark. Pretty good. Now let's try it with the cars. And the FPS is the same. Very good. Feels smooth. Looks good. Like, I could turn my resolution down a little bit inside the headset and, you know, gain a few more FPS if I really needed to. But, like, right now, this is absolutely great.
So I went from absolutely shitting on the Evo VR experience to praising the hell out of it. Like I say, it's not perfect because of the stupid 2 eye thing on the screen. Like, come on, man, just give us 1 eye. Even if it's just one, just any, without the option to switch. I don't want to have to run Oculus Mirror. It makes the recordings look like crap, and it eats your performance. But this video is long enough. I think I've said all I need to say. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, leave a comment. I'll catch you in the next one.